welcome to another episode of Psychic Diaries. I'm Michael Lamport, the producer of the show Rescue Mediums, and with me, as always, is Jackie Dennison, the host of Rescue Mediums. And we are very lucky today to be interviewing Tony Ferguson from the UK, who is, I think, we're going to ask him this. I think he's psychic, but we do know that he's a personal trainer by day and a paranormal investigator by night. So, Tony, those seem to be two vastly different professions. So how did you get into the paranormal investigation?
Well, the personal trainer in itself was obviously something I loved doing as a kid. So it got me into sort of like, I was always trying to keep fit because I had suffered with ADHD. So I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that's going to sort of keep me mentally focused and active, that kind of thing, and obviously train people, and also keep myself training and motivated. And also it kind of intertwines with the paranormal in a way because you're helping people. So in a sense, it's a good thing in that sense. The paranormal side of it came to more from when I was a child. I had a lot of childhood experiences. I could see a lot, hear a lot more than most. And basically, as I got older, I just wanted to sort of push that sort of arse out. Obviously, the personal trainer side of it kept it going, kind of thing, and just sort of it just became. I started doing a couple of investigations. A lot of things were happening, so I decided to sort of document it really, because obviously where a lot of stuff was happening on camera, I thought, well, let's start showing the rest of the world, you know, these strange things and see what they think of it.
No, that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's really perfect. It's interesting, though, when you were growing up that you had some paranormal experiences, but you sort of pushed them away. Because I think that a lot of people do that because, you know, they consider it sort of freaky or weird. So it's like, no, I don't want to tell anybody about this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a case of, it wasn't really freaky, believe it or not. It became a normal thing. My family had the experience as well, but back in them times, they didn't talk about a lot of it. My granddad's house was very haunted. Everyone had experiences there, but no one seemed to talk about it. And that's what really shocked me because, you know, it was a taboo subject. Some of my family were very skeptical, even though they had the experiences. But I think that was fear. Personally, I think they were scared of the experiences. My granddad was very open about it. He told me some of the stories as I got older, what happened in the house and stuff. And I thought, well, to me, I listened to him because for me, I thought, well, this is normal. This is, it's nice to talk. It's nice to talk to someone that's actually having the same experiences. And obviously, a lot of people used to say, "Oh, he's crazy" and whatever, but yet they had the experiences themselves. So it's just one of those to me where it's intrigued me because one, to prove to myself, and I think that's what anyone that's doing this needs to do it for themselves, no one else. And two, just to document it, just to show people what's really out there.
Yeah, that's what we like as well. I mean, Michael and I have always worked like that, is to provide the proof. So it's not just hearsay. It's what can you see, you know, as a viewer, what can you see? This is not made up. This is it, warts and all, as it is. So it's great that you're documenting everything. And I have seen quite a few of the videos that you've got online. And they are literally it's as things happen, and you don't try and make things fit, or if a door closes you go and see, well, why did that door close? You know, you go and rule things out, which is what I really like to work like that, you know, in that way. You mentioned that you had ADHD. Do you mind us talking about that for a minute?
No, it's fine. I'm quite open about it. For myself, obviously, as a child, I tend to sort of do a lot of sport to keep it sort of tamed. But I think, obviously, with my ADHD in general, my senses and heightens in general are very high. I can hear more than most. Like, we were on an investigation on Saturday with an events team, and I was hearing stuff to the ear, and literally it was coming out on camera, and then people started to tune in with me and hear it the same thing. Right. So for me, I think it heightens a lot of stuff for me, and when my energy is so high, maybe it's like a ball of light. If you've got a ball of light charged, the spirit's going to draw to it. I kind of got the same principle with a human being. If you've got an energy that's very charged, it's going to be drawn to that energy.
Yeah, yeah, that was my question. You must be psychic because you've just answered my question without me even asking, which is fantastic. Yeah, because the reason why I ask is my granddaughter has autism, and she has Asperger's, and she has very, very keen hearing, and she works on a very, very high vibrational level, that she is very, very sensitive to things that maybe the ordinary everyday Joe Blogs wouldn't be sensitive to. So yeah, I wondered if that you could use that to your advantage with your work, and obviously you do.
Yeah, I mean, I believe personally, people with obviously autism or ADHD, I think we run off a different frequency.
Yeah.
And that's my personal belief. Some people can, I've taken the positive out of the negative and used it to my advantage in certain things. And it's in the future, it would be interesting. It's an experiment I want to do, is get like a group together that have got ADHD and stuff, and just see if we can all pick up on the same thing. Would it make a difference? It's something that Paranormal hasn't seen yet, and it's something that I'm looking to do. One, obviously, to see if the experiment will work. Two, again, it will give people with ADHD something positive to work on. I always try and look at a positive at every situation, especially with things like mental illness and stuff. So yeah, I've been taking a look at a lot of groups at the moment with people that are saying they've got ADHD, just to see how the balance works. And so yeah, it's an interesting theory.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great theory. Yeah, because if you've got a group of people there with ADHD and they are all opening up, maybe opening up differently to each other,
yeah,
but, the same goal. I mean, I agree with you. That'll be very positive for those people for sure, and I think it will give a positive outlook on the situation to people that watch.
Yeah, definitely.
People have a different opinion about people with ADHD, right?
Yeah, because you're learning how to control that energy, which has got to be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think sometimes when you do the paranormal, you need to. Everyone starts from the bottom, no matter what. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to work with my own energy in order to work with what energy is there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to describe it. And I think, for instance, if you're doing the paranormal in general, you have to have that sort of balance. If you don't believe in something, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not going to work with you. You have to have that belief. And it's the same with the principle of a group. If you've got 2 negative people and 4 positive, you're not going to get a great response. And I've noticed that within going on events and stuff. I tend to turn up for events sort of pretty much just on the day, not so they're unaware of who I am, kind of thing, that kind of thing. So then I turn up and I show a different approach. And and so far what I've noticed, that when you've got certain people in the group that don't believe, it shuts it down. But then when you've got a group together that are really on this, that we want to find something, you have a really great night. So that for me is really interesting as well.
Yeah, because it alters the frequency, doesn't it? That vibrational frequency. So if you've got somebody in there who is like, oh, this is a load of rubbish, this is, why did you come on this investigation then? Yeah, because they can filter into that, their energy level filters in and brings the vibration down. And of course, when you're working with spirit, you've got to work on a high vibration to be able to connect. 100%. Yeah,
well, I think it's great that it's at your granddad that he still is willing, or still willing to talk about it.
My granddad actually passed away, sadly, but the good thing is that I've had a visitation from many a time. He's one of the reasons why I got into the paranormal, and I've had many experiences since he's passed away. So it's almost like he's encouraged me to do this, and I've always felt like I needed to do it. I've always had mediums around me growing up saying there's something different about you, and I thought, yeah, I know that I've got ADHD. I know that. But for me, it was a case of like they were drawing around me quite. I wasn't even into the paranormal, but they were drawing around me. I just kept on coming across mediums, and they were like, "Your granddad's telling you to do this, and he's looking out for you." And I thought, "Oh yeah, well I know he's around." So yeah, it's been a case of like, people just kept on coming in, and I thought, you know what, something's telling me to do this, and now I know why.
Oh, that's right. We've all got to do what our granddads say, or we're in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great when you can work with family members like that, and they give you that little bit of push, you know, and you know that they're working with it. He's a bit, excuse me, like almost like he's guiding you to do these things, and people that he wants you to meet, including us, of course, because this wouldn't happen without them lot up there. How do you decide what properties to investigate?
For myself, I know it's weird. Sometimes I just go with the flow. Like I go with my instincts. Like this weekend, had nothing planned, and I thought this is the place, Manor Farm. And I've got a video coming up tonight of you'll hear so many disembodied voices and captures, and the members of the public were astounded with some of the stuff that I was hearing and stuff. And obviously I don't normally work with a member of the public. I usually go up just with a small team just because of the you know, too much sort of interference and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's also good to branch out. But I tend to sort of, sometimes I go to the locations that I think, okay, these people are going to say, the Ancient Ram Inn, 30 East Drive, that kind of thing, and the hype. Personally, I'm one of those that I've got to see it to believe it. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go in there. It's not haunted until I've had that experience, or I've had my own experience, or I've got something on camera that can't be explained. So I tend to work like that sometimes and think, okay, let's go in there and give an honest approach, a different approach, rather than saying, can you move this, touch that? I try and get spirit to work with me to move objects, to make contact on what happened to them. I think that's really important, rather than just going into a building going, move that, touch this, move that door. You wouldn't get no response to that. And I've heard a couple of people do it before. I've heard disembodied voices saying get out, and I'm like, yeah, I know why you're saying get out. So yeah, it's, you know, and often we're working on the military fort at the moment. It's an open base, but the military are getting us to check out a lot of the forts there and stuff, and so we've done a lot of that stuff, and we've obviously, where it's untouched, so much has been uncovered and so much is happening. It's exciting because it's fresh. They're not used to people making contact with them. So that's for me, it's been a new era since in the last year or so, and that's been really nice to do. Not all nice, I'm not going to lie, because the military spirits there, some of them are very sort of, they don't want you there because you're not part of the military. Right. Very territorial. So, but overall, it's been an amazing experience to go to these locations where, obviously, and have them experiences. I mean, we had a fort door close, and well, the actual lady that runs it said that the door closes. Now, I'm always skeptical of stuff like that. I think, okay, could it be wind? Could it be this? So I left the camera running on the actual door, and basically we were actually having a barbecue in the fort, believe it or not, in the afternoon. We weren't actually investigating the whole day. We went back out to get some food. Bang! Heard a massive bang. Me, Paul, and Paul's dog Sam went back to go and check it out. Now, the interesting thing, what I loved about this capture, was that the door was held all the way back, and it's a still heavy door. Now, the door at the very back is a wooden, almost like a wooden door. It's not like, it's just basically a flimsy wooden door. Now, if the wind was in there, you'd see that door moving at the back, because it's a very light door. Now, that's why I thought to myself, well, okay, that's interesting, because that door didn't move. And the day in itself, we're having a barbecue. It wasn't windy. So it's a case of, well, you know, it's just one of those, it almost looked like the person just shut it because he didn't want it open.
Is that the clips that was shown on Jack Osborne's show?
Osborne, that's the one.
I think it's very interesting that that over there anyway, and not so much here, that the military is giving you access to some of these places. I think that's a really positive outlook, that an organization as structured as that would sort of like, okay, well, let's examine this. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoke to a lot of the military people in there, and the Gurkhas that are over here, they're very scared of the paranormal. Yet they could kill someone in an instant, but you speak to them, as soon as they come in the fort, they're like looking around like, is anyone there? Like, they're calling us to see if we're there and stuff, and it's like, you talk about ghosts, like, oh, no, they don't like it, because obviously I think out there they see it, I don't know if they see it as a negative really, or they're just scared overall because they can't see it. So what they can't see scares them. I think it's the same principle of everyone, in my opinion. Just because it's not there, it's going to scare people.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting watching through your videos as well, because there's some things that you can see with the naked eye, or things that happen like the door that closes, you know, there's no explanation for that. But there's some things that when you view the film footage afterwards, you actually see something. Because I watched one of your videos, and I think there was a group doing a seance, standing up doing a seance, and you can actually see a figure walking past them.
Oh, that was at
And
Shepton
you've
Mallet.
outlined it in red, so
Yeah,
that you know, yeah.
that was probably one of the weirdest experiences of my life, because that, again, I turned up to an events team on the night and we went to the wrong event. We went all the way to Shepton Mallet, but the group kindly let us in because they were like, oh, there's room for you to come in. And the gentleman that was doing the seance basically got them all in a circle. I don't participate in stuff like that because I don't like connecting with other people's energies, because it's just something I don't do, not on stuff like that, because I tend to get affected by feeling other people's feelings and stuff. So I stayed away from it. So we were recording on the actual balcony and I felt the energy change straight away. I was like, it's the calm before the storm. Something's going to happen. And then within about 30 seconds, the guy dropped to the ground in agony. And bear in mind, there was actually two mediums in the group in the actual circle with them. And as our camera picks up, literally this I don't know, apparition just appears in the middle of the room and just walks off, making this horrendous screech. I said straight away, get him out of there, because he was being affected. I think because he was the one doing all the vigils and they didn't like it. Now, it was in a chapel in a prison, obviously a place of worship. Now, I thought to myself, maybe it's because they had ouija boards and stuff and that sort of stuff in there. And obviously that's a no for me.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I did say to him after, I said, you know, you need to step away from all these vigils, as in like in certain areas, because obviously, and also I did go back with him in the future, and I said, now get into a seance. And he was like, okay, why? And he dropped straight to the ground again. And I said, don't participate in seances, because your energy gets affected by other people's energies. And since then he stayed away from it. But yeah, that was a bizarre one, because literally I felt the whole room just it's a weird feeling. It was the darkest feeling you could feel, as in dark, energy wise, and I just knew it was coming. And I wish I listened to myself. There was an orb that appeared on the camera, on my other camera, that went down to the gentleman, and it was almost like a DNA strand orb. So yeah, a lot happened that night. And the guy said, I need to give you a hug, and I was like, okay. He gave me a hug. For some reason, that just feels better. And I thought, are you just like offloading that energy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, it was, even he said to me, it was the weirdest experience of his life. And thank you very much for what you did to letting us know and stuff. And if you weren't there, that could have been a different situation, because they were trying to keep everyone in the room. And I was like, no, get everyone out the room, because they're not liking this. But
it's respect, isn't it? It's about respect. You've got to respect spirit and spirit energy, and they were obviously saying, look, this is not the place for this, let's not do that here.
Exactly.
You mentioned orbs. What's your opinion on orbs? Because you know, lots of people have different opinions. I'd like to hear what your opinion is.
Yeah, I mean, with orbs, for me, I've caught many orbs on camera, but I tend to see the orbs to the eye, and they're actually captured on camera. Now, my theory is orbs don't change shape. As in, orbs do change shape, but if it's an insect, insects and dust, I've got a lot of shape-shifting orbs that tend to change from circle to strand, and they change shape in a weird line, almost that they're trying to sort of, because I'm one of those that are trying to say, hang on a minute, there's something here. Yes, there's dust, but dust comes in many particles. But orbs have always been known as spiritual energy throughout the ancient times, and the ancients have always said that. So whilst the cameras can pick up a lot of dust, and that's a fact, you just got to know what is dust and what isn't. And I've caught an orb at Ancient Ramming with Paul, where literally we were trying to talk about what happened with the door. A door went, well, not the door, the actual back rim, or it's like a massive explosion or something that happened in there. But pretty much this orb was about that big and went past and went, Tony, and said my name into the camera. Now, does dust talk? No. Does insects talk? No. So and I also caught an orb which made a cat ball go off, and I saw it to the eye. I was with Paul again. I said an orb just went past in the room. Now, my eye couldn't possibly see dust in the pitch black. It's impossible. And again, for an insect, I'm not going to see it in the pitch black. And the cat ball went off at the same time. So there's again, it's one of those. I'm not here to prove anything to anyone. I'm here just to document it. And it's like the one back in the time UFOs never existed, but now suddenly the government have released that they do.
Yeah.
So, you know, my hope is that in the future, these things might get disclosed, and, you know, so you just got to keep pushing it, and you're going to get people that are going to criticize, skeptics, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, you're doing it for yourself. So I don't tend to get disheartened by people's opinions and stuff. I just chuck it up there and let you decide for yourself.
Yeah. Right. I think a lot of how you describe things, it's like I wouldn't have been at all surprised if you hadn't gone into parapsychology, because a parapsychologist is wanting to do that, is wanting to show that, you know, if there is something there, please show me, so it's documented, so I can see it, so I can, you know, there's no explanation for that. And, you know, that's what I like to have that proof. With orbs, it's interesting how you described them, because that's how I see them. If they change shape or direction, it's like it can't be just a little bit of dust that's just floating away there. It's like there is a purpose to this, and there's a reason why it's going, or it will change shape or color as well. And the fact that you can see them with the naked eye, that's how I see them. And when you see them like that and then get them on film at the same time, I think you've pretty well got it documented that, yeah, that's it, it's there, it's not dust. But I know it's something that people have, there's always this debate. The other debate, of course, is something else that you mentioned, the Ouija board.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those that with the Ouija board, I pretty much, I don't participate in it, because I've seen so many people in groups and events where their family are coming through, and I'm at the principle, why would they come through in a dark, dingy tunnel? You know what I mean? And I know, and the messages. So we had one the other day, and I thought, no, not buying it. But they can't give you their full name. They're giving you messages that we had once, and the ram in saying Ram or no Raj or Rabjab or something, and then it was just like, no, close it down, because what you're talking to is just playing with you. It's drawing you in.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Mr. Humphrey's name in there, and I thought, no. Yeah, and I thought, I'm not buying it, because at the end of the day, the messages didn't make any sense. If they want to get a message, it would be important. It wouldn't be a case of just like jibber jabber. So I'm skeptical of it, but I don't participate. I prefer to observe, because I can then see what's around. If I'm in it, then I can't observe, because I'm with people's energy. But if I'm away from it, I can see what's going on around people and how people are changing.
Smart. That's a really smart move.
Sorry, what if I don't mean this, I do mean this to be sort of funny. What if we are their Ouija board? So that's why they're pissing around with us.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I often say it's on investigations, and I always twist it around, and I tend to get a response, especially with a lot of spirits, that, because some of them don't know they're actually passed away, and you're saying that you know, can you do this, can you do that? But I often say, you know, are you alive? And then the devices go off, and I'm like, so that's something that people don't ask, because they are very much alive, but we see it as being dead, because we portray it, obviously, once we die. That's for many people, that's it. But when you ask the question, are you alive, the devices go off, because they're almost going, yes, we are alive. So it's something that a lot of paranormal investigators don't do. It's always negative questions, whereas you put it on a positive spin. Are you still alive? Are you still doing this? Are you still doing that? And it's a case of, you get responses like that, because they're like, well, yeah, I am alive.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just haven't got the physical body anymore, but I'm still here. Yeah.
Well, that's where you got to be a personal trainer.
Exactly. I've got a couple of videos in the past testing out, not as in going in the gym or anything like that, but we literally just doing some in the actual army barracks. I was with Port one time, and we were doing some training, military training, in the actual one of the tunnels, and just to see if it could spark up some energy and stuff, just something a bit different. It didn't look very good on camera, I'm not gonna lie, but obviously we were doing some sort of like military training and stuff in there, and you know, you've got to try things like this at the end of the day, because wherever you are, you've got to put your mindset into that location. And that's what I tend to do, and everywhere's different. Yesterday I was in a nursing home. The day before I was in a manor house. You know, you've got to put yourself in that bubble of what they would be thinking, rather than treat it every place is the same, or everything's going to be the same, because it isn't.
Yeah, you tune into the energy of the place, whatever that place is, whether it's the ground that the building is on, or whether it's the building itself, or the energy of the spirit you're connecting with. It's like, that's where that fine tuning comes in. Do you, because I'm a rescue medium and so is Michael, do you help spirit to go over?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it a couple of times. I mean, I'm a firm believer that, especially with spirit in general, some want to be here because they've got unfinished business, some don't. And I'm very sort of picky and choosy with what, obviously, how I work with certain locations, because certain locations don't allow you to do that sort of stuff because of their terms and conditions, which is annoying because, you know, you want to. But when it comes
I would just flout it. I'm sorry. It's like,
yeah,
I'm going in there.
I don't blame you. But obviously, when it comes to sort of like locations where, for instance, military bases and stuff, I think sometimes just acknowledging them and finding out their story can actually help. And for me, I've gone back and I know they're not there. They've gone. They've moved forward because they just need it. I always say, like being an investigator or a medium, you need to sort of be a counsellor at the same time as well, because you've got, you know, you need to listen. And although for many you can't hear, but if you can hear, if you're listening, and then you need to talk back and then obviously get to the situation, get to the root cause why they're still here. Is it family? Are they looking for family? Are they looking for friends? Are they, has their death not been told? Has it been a lie? Has there been a lie of their death? What happened to them? Was their death traumatic? There's so many different cases that you've got to deal with, which again, the principle where you go to a location. So for me, I know I've gone back to many locations and the spirits ain't there. They've moved forward. Some are still there because they need to heal themselves. Same principle of humanity. You know, we all go through trauma in life. It's the same principle in the afterlife. We're still going through trauma. So you know, as much as you can go help, sometimes just going back and going back and going back, you know, you grow that bond, you grow that trust. You know, sometimes it just pushes them to go, do you know what? I'm not scared to go on to the next part of my journey, because, you know, I think a lot of religion, in my opinion, what I've gathered, my evidence, is why a lot of spirits are still here, because of the, obviously, back in them days, if you did anything that told a lie, you know, you pretty much you they say you go to hell or something. But I think a lot of spirits are here because of obviously wrongdoings in their life, and they're punishing themselves by staying because they're frightened of what's beyond this point, if that makes sense.
It's sort of like spirit therapy that you're doing there, right?
I mean, that's the way I treat it in general. It's, you know, this whole paranormal thing in general is it's weird, because though people think they're not speaking to someone, especially the ones that can't hear and see, just by being what I call respectful and talking to them about certain situations that might be relevant to them, that could stir up so much in the actual in the whole of the room. And that's why I always say just stick to the points of, like, rather than saying move, touch, how about let's get to a point of what happened to you, and the rest will come with it.
Absolutely. It's, and again, it's down to that thing, you know, respect, which is it's so important. You know, in some places, I suppose we could be the spirit's entertainment. They go over here again, a new crowd, let's go. You know, so, but in other cases, you're absolutely right. It's like, I have a story to tell. You know, no one's really listening to me, but you know, this guy's just come in and he can, he's listening, and this is great. It's all part of that healing process. That worries me, you know, about places that are done over and over again. It's the same place that is, you know, being investigated over and over again, and it's like, why would Molly from the 1600s still be in that place? You know, has anybody taken the time to talk to Molly to say, what's your problem? You know, do you choose to be here because you like to be here? You know, are we your entertainment, or do you need help? Should we show you where, you know, your family are in spirit? So taking the time out to do that, I think, is really important. You know, so there's always another spirit maybe wanting to take that. I see it like a long line of, like, we're outside the door. Well, Molly, will you just get a move on, for goodness sake? I've been waiting here 400 years and I would just like, it's my turn now, right? Okay. So you've got all of these that you can, let's have a fresh one, which is great. When you were saying about going to the military base, it's fresh. So this is new. And, you know, and spirits that maybe have been waiting there, they go, oh, thank goodness for this, somebody who can listen to me at long last.
100%. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, excellent. I love it. I like how you work. That you've got a lot of respect there, and I love that idea of bringing a group of people together with ADHD to see how that works, to see if we can help not only them in controlling their own energy, but using their energy, getting used to whether you've got ADHD or not, using your own energy, knowing your own energy, as you said earlier. Because if you don't know your own energy, how can you gauge somebody else's or something else? So it's very much about connecting with yourself, starting with the basics, as you say. When you go into an investigation, do you ground yourself? Just talking about energy, and how do you ground yourself and protect yourself before you go in anywhere?
For myself, I don't do the Lord's Prayer.
No, I don't either.
I pretty much I use my spirit guides. I know my granddad's around me, so I know he's always there. He's come on camera a couple of times. I've heard his voice. Also, I tend to use tourmaline and stuff like that for like around my wrist and stuff, chain. But other than that, I just know when the energy's wrong. I move it. It's weird once you've done this for so long. I always say, if something don't feel right, move away, because that energy is not obviously mixed with yours. So I tend to sort of know what I'm working with. So I use my own tools as a way of protecting myself.
Well,
everybody, the best way.
Everybody does it different. I know that I mean, I ground anyway, you know, I just get rid of any negative energy that I've absorbed through the roots and whatever, and then I recharge my batteries in the same way from the earth's energy, then put the bubble of protection around myself. And any investigation I do, or any whether it's for a large crowd or whether we're going into a haunted location, like with Michael will tell you, we make sure all of the crew, everybody is grounded and protected before we go in, before we start. And the reason we do that is, as you say, you know, the guy that hit the deck, that we've had that happen to us whilst we were filming, where a crew member has been affected because they haven't grounded properly, and they thought, oh yeah, okay, we'll just skip this. No, look what's just happened, you know. And so so it's really important. It's the intent.
That was I think that was in our investigation in Oshawa, and it was very interesting because, as the producer and occasional director of the show, we have two camera people, and one of them is a really, really tall, very, very happy guy, and the other is a very short Scandinavian guy. And the Scandinavian guy just kept filming as the other guy was falling to the ground. So it's sort of like, no, I'm not going to help you right now. So, you know, we got the shot.
In fact, I think it's the only episode that it was Peterborough.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was the only episode where we were allowed to keep that shot in because it was it's as it happened. And I could see this guy that we were talking to in spirit, that we were trying to get through the light, and he was being really, really difficult and awkward. And it was like, oh, come on, hurry up, let's get you through here. We've got time to do this. And we could see him, and he's walking towards us, ready to go through. And then all of a sudden he changed direction and went straight to the camera guy. And you can see us on camera going like this and watching this energy as Mike hit the deck. It was like, oh, and he, like Michael said, he's a big guy, and he got a big camera, not the little cameras that we have today. This was a great big whack-off camera that he had on his shoulder, and the whole lot went. Yeah. It was, honestly. So so that's the reason why I was asking about the grounding. But everybody has their own way of of doing that. When you're working with this kind of work, it's something that you really have to you really have to do.
I always tend to go to the beach beforehand, before an investigation, and go in the sea, or just basically go barefoot and just zone out everything. And then after an investigation the next day, I do the same. That's always helped me to clear the energy and just basically rejuvenate, and that's something I've always done.
I'm glad what you said also, because Jackie and I and others on our team about the Ouija boards. you know, they're just cantankerous and silly. And what's odd, and I don't know if this is the case where you are, but in Toronto in Canada, like every department store sells Ouija boards.
Yeah, oh no.
It's like, what?
That's another reason why I won't touch them, because I don't want to sort of advertise on my channel or my platforms.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of kids do it, and I'm like, no,
Yep.
I'm not going to be one of those that are going to put that on the internet. Not for me.
Good for you. I like that. So where do you want to go to next? What sort of places are interesting you?
Well, I want to go to 30 East Drive because obviously I'm very skeptical of it. I've never really seen what I call substantial evidence there, and my own fear of it is I believe that the family might have been haunted, but they've moved out now. So I'm going to go there and try and find out for myself what is going on there. Other than that, I'm just going to, I tend to just do what I always do. Whenever something feels right, when I feel high energized and I think, okay, let's go somewhere, and I just do it on the day or next day kind of thing. But there's not really, I've done everywhere in the UK personally, most of them. I'm starting to go to more sort of untouched buildings now, because I just feel I get a better response. And you know, you get more sort of reaction and stuff, and so I'm going to do more work on that, I guess. And obviously I've still got a lot more thoughts to do, so I'm going to be busy, that's for sure. But I'm just going to continue what I'm doing. I'm not going to stop what's working.
Excellent.
So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, we like that, and we shall keep following your progress. And you know, I like the fact that you put the stuff out there for people to view. If you want to share that on veryparanormal.com, we'd love to have you on board, you know, to share all your videos on there. It's a great platform. We love working with like-minded people on there. So happy haunting for the future. And we'll catch up again and see what you're up to in the future, and see where it's leading you. And if you're ever in Cheshire, which is where I live, up this way, then we're up for a cup of tea, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully in the Haunted Cafe, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Tony, and it's going to be great to talk with you again.
Yeah, like I said, I'll catch up in the future, and both of you as well. Stay well and happy hunting also for the future.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Thanks, Tony. Bye.
Take care. Bye.